It all kicked off with a short, mysterious tweet from Asia Wilson. "What is delayed is not denied." At first glance, it could have been a motivational quote or a personal mantra. However, the timing was striking. The tweet dropped just as the public began buzzing over Caitlin Clark's shoe deal. Before long, people started wondering if Asia was reacting, perhaps subtly expressing frustration that her own sneaker, if it existed at all, wasn't receiving the same spotlight. Sports fans and analysts tend to connect the dots whenever star players are involved. Within hours, social media threads lit up, dissecting every word of Asia's post. Some believed she was calling attention to a missed opportunity in her career. Others insisted she was simply sharing an uplifting note about patience. Yet the context suggested she might be drawing attention to the fact that she hadn't publicly revealed any new shoe deal, while another standout was being celebrated. With minimal clarification, fans ran wild, guessing that Asia had been overlooked or that her brand had made a late pivot to highlight someone else. This brief message set the stage for an intense conversation no one saw coming. As the chatter grew, new details emerged about the process of developing a signature sneaker. Typically, it requires 18 to 24 months of conceptual design, mechanical testing, adjustments for performance, and aesthetic refinements before a shoe is ready for the market. So, while the public might have thought Asia's shoe was suddenly in limbo, insiders pointed out that an athlete of her caliber would never be given such a major endorsement on a whim. These deals are meticulously planned out, with multiple departments, marketing, product design, and PR, working in unison. In fact, sources began revealing that Asia had been aware of her line for quite some time. She had likely gone through product meetings, tested early prototypes, and collaborated on the shoe's look and features well before anyone heard a whisper of Caitlin Clark's deal. Understanding this timeline raised the question, if Asia already had a plan in motion, why did she seem to imply otherwise? Some fans posited that her cryptic tweet was simply misread. Others speculated it was a carefully orchestrated move to leverage the public's reaction, generating more interest in her eventual reveal. With so many theories circling, one thing was clear. Whatever the intent, Asia's post had unleashed significant buzz. In the realm of sports marketing, publicity, positive or negative, can be extremely valuable. Brands often look to create narratives that hook the public, and controversy is one of the most effective ways to do it. Even when no explicit rivalry is planned, the internet is adept at conjuring one from minimal evidence. In this case, the possibility that Asia Wilson's accomplishments might have been overshadowed provided the perfect spark. Some observers argued that Asia's team let the delayed recognition angle linger, generating waves of sympathy and support for her. Fans who believed she was being overlooked rallied on social media, passionately defending her record-breaking statistics and champion status. Others claimed the timing of her tweet was purely coincidental, and that the subsequent uproar was an unplanned but convenient byproduct of how quickly news travels online. Either way, her name trended, gathering intense scrutiny and curiosity about her eventual sneaker reveal. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's own endorsement deal was drawing attention in its own right. By the time Asia's messages and interviews started gaining steam, the stage was set for endless comparisons. Many debates sprang up, questioning who truly deserved a sneaker deal first or who had the bigger fan base. In the end, both athletes found themselves at the center of a heated discussion that likely helped more people learn about women's basketball and the market potential of its stars. This all led fans to a central question: who should receive the spotlight first, and why? Asia Wilson, a proven champion with accolades to back it up, had the resume to warrant a high-profile shoe launch. On the other hand, Caitlin Clark was generating unparalleled excitement with her standout performances, building a fresh wave of fans and media interest. When two big announcements happen in quick succession, comparisons are inevitable. The resulting friction can feel like an implicit suggestion that only one can dominate the spotlight at a time. Yet brand strategies often revolve around careful scheduling, aiming to drop news at moments of peak consumer interest. If Asia's shoe was still in development, maybe her brand had been waiting for just the right time, post-season hype, or a new marketing campaign, to officially unveil it. From the outside, however, this nuance can get lost. To fans, it seemed as though Asia was late to the party and forced to tweet about being delayed, rather than being celebrated from day one. Navigating these perceptions became a tall task for everyone involved, fueling endless speculation about mismanagement or purposeful suspense. As social media drove the narrative, other figures around the league chimed in with lighthearted remarks or genuine confusion. Some joking that a lesser-known athlete might land a signature sneaker before Asia, others claiming there was no real sign of a product in development. Sports journalists, talk show hosts, and digital influencers weighed in, often with partial information. The internet's instant reaction culture magnified every rumor, each new piece of gossip shaping fans' opinions more dramatically. In the midst of this, Asia took steps to limit who could interact with her on social platforms, possibly to avoid hostile comments or to reduce the flood of tags and mentions. That action only further fueled theories about whether she felt deeply misunderstood or if she preferred not to engage in an escalating argument. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was ironically cast in a storyline she might not have intended to join. All it took was one overlapping announcement, and suddenly the narrative became Clark versus Wilson, whether either athlete wanted that dichotomy or not. This underscores how easily public perception can twist individual announcements into a larger feud, especially in the absence of clear, proactive communication from those involved. Many insiders noted a pattern common in high-stakes marketing campaigns. Controversy often boosts visibility. When fans believe an athlete is overlooked, they galvanize online, sharing posts and hashtags that spread the story far beyond the typical sports audience. Ironically, it's a surefire way to amplify an athlete's name in future product, even if the initial sentiment is outrage or pity. Some brands are willing to take that gamble, trusting that once the product hits shelves, a large portion of the crowd will be curious enough to buy or at least talk about it. This led some to suspect that the entire delayed shoe narrative served a bigger strategy. By letting the storyline play out, Asia Wilson's upcoming launch was pushed to the forefront of basketball talk shows, social channels, and sports websites. It's the kind of free publicity that would normally cost a fortune to orchestrate through traditional advertising. However, if fans end up feeling manipulated, that can breed mistrust and tarnish the athlete's image. Still, there's also the possibility it was all organic. Sometimes a single, vague post is all that's needed for fans to create a massive buzz. No marketing genius required. In either case, the confusion accomplished one undeniable feat. It made more people aware of Asia's upcoming sneaker than perhaps any standard press release could have achieved on its own. With the dust starting to settle, the focus turned to Asia's reputation. She remains an extraordinary talent, but the public is split on whether she rode a wave of controversy or was genuinely blindsided by timing issues. If her sneaker launch thrives and reviews are positive, skeptics may decide the result speaks for itself. Controversy or not, the final product resonates with fans. On the other hand, if enthusiasm wanes, some might say the drama overshadowed what should have been a straightforward celebration of a star athlete's accomplishment. For Caitlin Clark, the situation served as a clear reminder that even well-earned success can inadvertently spark comparisons to established stars. She found herself cast as a potential rival or competition in a narrative that wasn't entirely in her control. Her best move seems to be staying the course and letting her on-court performances do the talking, establishing her brand in a positive, drama-free manner. Meanwhile, the WNBA and other stakeholders can learn from this about the power of coordinated communication. A single brand statement, clarifying the timeline of shoe development and praising both athletes, might have preempted the swirling theories. Instead, silence or vague marketing hints allowed uncertainty to fester, creating a scenario where fans filled in the blanks on their own. This entire episode is a testament to how easily a normal business operation, like a new shoe release, can balloon into a full-blown controversy. In an era where social media thrives on quick takes, half-truths, and sensational headlines, fans and commentators often magnify small misunderstandings into major narratives. Whether you're an ardent follower of women's basketball or just an observer, it's crucial to recognize how swiftly stories can morph once they enter the public domain. At its core, This saga illustrates the potential disconnect between intricate brand planning and the simplified lens through which the public views announcements. Most fans see only the final product, a social media teaser, a new shoe design, without the months or years of behind-the-scenes work leading up to it. When overlapping announcements arrive, confusion can spike and rumors fill the void. This can be beneficial in generating conversation, but detrimental if it sows lasting distrust among the fan base. Moving forward, the basketball world waits to see how Asia's sneaker rollout will fare once it formally launches. Will it build on the hype stirred by this controversy, becoming a bestseller embraced by both dedicated and casual fans? Or will the lingering questions about timing, intentions, and the initial sense of being delayed cast a shadow over its release? For her part, A'ja Wilson might address the confusion directly in interviews or on social media, clarifying that the process was always on track. Acknowledging the gap between internal business timelines and public perceptions could go a long way toward mending any frustrated feelings among her supporters. For Caitlin Clark, continuing her upward trajectory might mean steering clear of any feud narrative, focusing on her performance, and celebrating her own sneaker when the time comes. Brands and leagues can look at this as a case study in proactive communication. If the various parties had coordinated their announcements or even posted a joint statement affirming both athletes' sneaker deals, some of the most heated reactions might have been avoided. Instead, we saw a real-time demonstration of how quickly conflicting messages can spiral out of control, especially in a digital environment that thrives on immediate sensational content. What started as a routine sneaker reveal evolved into a multi-layered conversation about timing, marketing tactics, and consumer perception. A'ja Wilson's single tweet unleashed a wave of speculation about her shoe deal's status, overshadowing the fact that she likely had been working on her line for months. Caitlin Clark's parallel announcement only added fuel to the fire, pulling both athletes into a web of online chatter. In the end, the essence of this story is a reminder of how crucial clarity can be. When brands and athletes fail to provide timely, transparent updates, fans fill the silence with their own theories, sometimes launching a storm that even the best PR strategies struggle to contain. For those watching or inspired by these athletes, it's a lesson in scrutinizing the headlines, understanding that behind every sensational claim, there's often a more measured reality. Regardless, the buzz has put a spotlight on women's basketball, drawing new eyes to talented players who deserve recognition. Hopefully, the takeaway is a positive one: improved communication and a greater appreciation for the meticulous process that goes into creating a signature shoe. If you've enjoyed following this breakdown, and if you want more highlights, analysis, and inside scoops, be sure to subscribe to WNBA Bulletin Footage. It's a great way to stay up to date with game coverage, behind-the-scenes content, and everything else happening in the league you love. By doing so, you'll never miss a moment of the fast-evolving world of women's basketball, and you'll be supporting the voices that keep you informed along the way.